All right, Jordan. So
go. Can you still hear?
Yo.
Doing all right. Doing all right.
We are picking up right where we left off after a pretty gnarly and semi-unexpected firefight at a heavy-duty junkyard in the middle of practically nowhere on the way to Jefferson City, Missouri. The Echo Squadron has come to rescue Charlie Squadron and got rescued a little bit in turn. And so now we have two squadrons looking at each other. How do you guys react? You got 1, 2, 3, 4 mechs here in front of you, obviously allies.
Well, first thing I do is I pop the hatch because it's getting warm in here with the reactor shut down. So, and I take out a fire extinguisher and go to try and cool down a few of the heat sinks.
I open the radio and go, Charlie Squadron. Is that you?
Roger that. And gotta say, thanks for coming. My name... Sorry, I should have had the right page open. My name is Phantom Striker. And yeah, this is my crew. And the hatch on the middle vehicle here throws itself open. And if my players here look in Discord, they'll see pictures with the names of the people that they're talking to. So yeah, the hatch that opens up with Phantom Striker stepping out is a brawler mech, pretty well maintained, and the man that steps out is a tall-looking man, dark complexion, short cropped hair, slightly gray around the ears, and he waves to you. You guys are a good, you're standing in mech, so you have to leave a little bit of room. So you guys are probably standing like 20 feet away from each other at least, and he's waving across from his hatch, and the other hatches open up, and 3 other people are sitting in their seats. He signals over towards his left with his hand, and you see a slender looking female pilot. He says, "This is Yin. She drives the Titan over here." And you see a huge mech that she's sitting in. Again, well maintained, but with some damage. It looks like some scuffs, some scratches torn into it, perhaps from this recent encounter. And then he signals over to his right to the closest mech to him, and he says, "This is our scout, Yang." And a man in there sort of very officially waves with a curt wave, and then he signals all the way over to his right a little further and said, "Over there, that's Blowhard." And you see a striker with a large machine gun thrown up over his shoulder, and there's a man with kind of longish medium hair, and he just sort of makes this casual like laughing like, "Hey!" And that's Charlie Squadron. That's what they look like. Do you guys introduce yourself? Who takes the lead here?
I guess I will. I'll go. Nice to see that we got here in time, Charlie Squadron. I'm Olivier, and then these are my companions here. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hey, I'm gonna pop the hatch on my mech and pop out, with the headset on and talking to the radio over them. But hey, my name's Danny. But You can call me Warbucks. That's what all my friends call me.
Well met.
Good to see you guys are okay.
We're glad to be okay.
As I keep on walking around my mech, shooting with the fire extinguisher to cool it down, I just wave and go, I'm Keith.
Make sure that thing doesn't go up.
More worried about all those things that were, running all over us.
Yeah, I wasn't around 100 years ago, but I have a feeling this is about what they were dealing with. I don't know if they get much bigger than that.
That's big enough for me.
And he looks over at the striker and says, "What about you, quiet one?" And I'm not sure if he can see you or not, because I'm not sure if the hatch is open.
Yeah, it's open, and she just like pops a bubble of gum from her mouth, the snapping noise, and like gives a casual salute. Doesn't say.
Yin, you notice the lady across kind of smirks, also a quiet, less to say kind of person. And they all say, yeah. Actually, Blowhard says, he goes, yeah, we really are pretty happy you came in when you did. We were in a pretty tight spot. Leader here, Phantom Striker, I think he was about ready to say his prayers. Phantom Striker goes, it's enough of that. We would have been fine, but we do appreciate the help. Are you heading back to the Jefferson City Depot?
So yeah, we were supposed to come pick you guys up and grab a bunch of equipment that is apparently here and escort you and the equipment to Jefferson City. Is my understanding.
Oh, excellent. We were actually supposed to go to that depot until we ran into some trouble. We were going to assist you, but it turns out we were the ones who needed the help. Well, that's fine. So we'll all get to Jefferson City together then, and we'll introduce you to the Major.
Right on. Let's not waste some time. Let's get going.
Absolutely. And the hatches all start slamming shut. The mechs start up again, and you guys start taking off towards Jefferson City.
Cool. Hey, so I just said let's get going, but I assume that we want to keep moving. Are we? Is anybody hurt? Like, are we gonna need to stop and repair before we get in anything too crazy?
You guys, I'll just add before anybody answers. You guys know that you have about a 2-hour travel left. They were about halfway between, and it wasn't that far from where you were back to Jefferson City. I think I said it was 2 days, and you traveled a day and a half. So actually, yeah, it's about a half day, so it's 4 hours. So you have 4 hours till you get there.
So maybe we need to, regroup a little bit before we head out. I don't know. That's I guess I'm asking.
As much as I would like to get going, perhaps we should take a bit of time to lick our wounds. I mean, my armor's a bit banged up, so I could maybe spend some time, patching the bullet holes.
Right. Sorry, I can't even find my character sheet right now. Yeah, so my the armor on my mech is way down. It's pretty much blasted, and I'm down some. I got some damaged repairs as well. So I'm not sure how long it's going to take to do that work. If you guys think we should get going, actually, out of character, I have I can regain armor points using the Nano Shroud ability, which, it I guess I don't know how you want to run that sort of game wise. It does require me to roll reactor and a use die, but if we're not in combat, I guess the use or not use die, but reactor die and it's a use action regains a D4 armor. I kind of assume I could do that safely if we have enough downtime, but I don't know. That's kind of a question.
So yeah, the thing is, actually, to upgrade to repair your armor, I believe you need a long rest. Short rest considered an hour or more allows you to regain. Oh no, armor points up to max. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. So you don't get all your HP left back on a short rest, but you do get all your armor back on a short rest. And a short rest is 1 hour or more. A long rest would be 8 hours or more. So that said, I mean, I would have you roll the use die and the reactor die. If you were to use Nano Shroud, but I don't think you're the only one who needs armor points, so that may not be the only, that might not be the best solution anyway for you. It depends on what you guys decide. But yeah, you could roll the dice and use your Nano Shroud as a move, because if you do run out, you won't be able to keep using it again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And otherwise, a short rest would be an hour, and that's what you'd need to repair armor.
That seems like on balance maybe a good idea. Just get that. I mean, not take the full time and get our HP back. I don't know how we're doing for HP, but tactically seems a good move.
Does the team?
Objections?
Yeah. Does this...
Personally, I'm unscathed, so whatever you guys need to do, though.
Well, you know what? I can make do. If we want to keep going, just keep rolling on. I can repair myself on the move, or try to.
Yeah.
My reactor die is fine, so I got plenty of power.
Okay. Yeah. So, well then, yeah. If that's what you guys are going to do, so I think like Phantom Striker probably says, we really only got half a day's travel. We should be in pretty safe country between here and the base, I'd say. Let's just hit the road. And then sorry.
Phantom Striker, I'd refrain from speaking that aloud. I'm not a superstitious man, but it's been a rough day, and it's only been a few hours.
Oh, he goes, sure, yeah. He goes, here, how about I'll knock on wood. And he bangs on his head, and he goes, I'm sorry. I won't jinx us again.
Thank you kindly.
And I think Yin probably scoffs at that. She goes, come on, superstitions? And Blowhard calls back over the radio, and he goes, hey, you shut your mouth, girl. You never know. Sometimes all it takes is a little waver in a soldier's confidence, and that could be the end of him. Don't laugh at him. And they say, but either way, let's get moving. And so if you want to try to use the Nano Shroud on the road as you're moving, just make me those rolls.
I actually, turns out I was lying when I said my reactor was fine. It's actually down to a D4.
Oh, okay.
I can still do it.
Yeah, you can try.
I guess I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll do that.
And I'll just, go ahead and make those rolls. But narratively, I'll just let you guys know. So you're kind of coming out of a more very flat land into a land kind of undulating a bit with riversides and you got a one. So as you reach this area, kind of where you see more rivers, more rivulets and creeks and streams, which are like puddles to a mech pilot for the most part, until you see the large Missouri River. But just as you're coming up from the south towards Jefferson City, you see Warbucks saying, I can't show up like this, and he's trying to work his Nano Shroud, and suddenly you hear and so you have to you have to take about a 15-minute break to let Warbucks's machine cool down. He has overridden his reactor core.
Well, that was the roll for how much armor I get back. I actually didn't
Oh,
know
I'm
that.
sorry. I looked too quickly at the thing.
Well, here,
Yep.
you know what? Let's try it again because maybe that happened. It did.
It did happen. But you can go ahead and take an extra 2 points for your armor for doing me that narrative favor. So thank you for that. So yeah, his mech overheats. Warbucks, tell us what your reaction is, and then everybody else, if you'd just like to narrate a little bit for me, the 15 minutes, and then we'll get back on the road.
Right. So you guys are probably like walking down the road, and Warbucks is in the back anyway because he's so slow and ponderous, and I'm sure just for a minute, you don't even notice that you've left him behind. And he gets on the radio. He's like, hang on just a second. Then he's all super flustered about it. Yeah, I'm gonna need a minute, you guys. Yeah, it turns out that reactor wasn't as shit. That's what you hear from him.
I imagine like at the last bit there's like a warning overheat, and like the sound of like the cooling system coming on and the like fire alarm going off.
Yeah, totally. He's kind of panicking. Like he's got it under control, but you know.
Yeah. In the meantime, I see him stop, and I feel like I didn't transform back to vehicle mode because the reactor is really not liking me right now. I need to overhaul it somewhat. So I'm pulling the trailer truck that I was carrying my gear, but instead of having it as a hitch, I'm basically pulling it like if it was a radio flyer thing, and behind me with with my hand. So and I just drop it to the ground and sit, waiting for it to start again.
Okay, yeah, and the other team is they're cracking jokes a little bit, but then they go, "Don't worry, the mechanics over at this base are pretty good. We'll introduce you guys. This one's gonna need a little work, it seems. They're kind of busting your chops, and it's funny that it's Warbucks because obviously he has spent so much money and time and affection on his mechs that he probably takes a lot of pride in them.
So I think at the end I get it back up and running, and like I'll come back on the radio, like when the whole thing powers back up. Like it's kind of meant to do this, right? When it powers back up, we'll get back on the radio, be super official, and like use all the appropriate, Warbucks back online, our system, blah blah blah, and run down the checklist and just be like, none of the panic ever happened.
Yeah, that's what happened when everything is, according to the books. If you jury rig things, it doesn't shut down after because you made sure that the safeties are off.
Well, yeah, I mean that's against the regulations. If you don't run the safeties on, you're going to be in violation. Yeah, okay.
I'm very concerned for my team. Also, everyone, even though we got a little bit of a break here, make sure not to lapse in attention. And Breaker Mammoth is going to start kind of like doing a small kind of patrol and being alert.
Excellent.
Even though everyone else is cracking jokes.
Roll me a systems check. Sorry, did it roll?
No, it's being frustrating and not letting me click my own token for some silly reason, so I'm just gonna roll manually. So critical success.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, 1. Excellent. So yeah, you get a lot of information. So you realize that you had been seeing these kind of like dots on your radar for a while, but you weren't really registering them. They were very small. But you realize now, because of where you stopped, the way that there's a river kind of out and around you guys, so the way the dots had to move went with the river, and you realized that you've been kind of getting tailed a bit by a sort of herd of something. There's a few of them, few dots that you're picking up on.
A herd?
Like a small pack, actually, is a better word. Sorry, pack. A pack of them.
I'm gonna radio just like, all units be advised, there's some sort of pack coming towards us. Be alert.
Well, they're not actually coming towards you, and I think with that roll, you would probably have the systems installed. You'd like rewind your radar and be able to track it, and you'd see that actually for a while they had been tailing you, but they never get closer than like 200 yards.
I think we have a bit of stalkers. Seems I'm checking my scanners here, and it seems we've been tailed for quite a while now. They aren't seem to be. They're keeping their distance, but they are following. Maybe we should investigate them, see if they're friendly. Be shame to lure some scouts into our base now, wouldn't it?
Is there someone that can help me with the reactor situation? Because if everything is fine with it, then I can switch to my I can shroud and just go and maybe take a peek and make sure that I'm not seen.
So mechanically, what he's basically asking for, just to be clear, is a striker with the ability to upgrade his reactor die because he's down to a D4.
Is there a striker on the other team, or?
Oh yeah, there actually is a striker on the other team as well. Blowhard steps up, and yeah, he says, so I'll roll that manually. Let me just check the stats on that. So Blowhard, Striker, level 3.
I want to know what that looks like, the reactor charge. Like, does he have to come over and, like, plug his fist into your gut? Or, like, how do you hook other jumper cables?
Yeah, why don't...
Do they hug?
I'll let, Cliffhammer, you can describe what it looks like. I'm gonna roll his reactor roll.
Well, the way I said it, in this case, I think it would just be a very low tech, as in he's got a foam that basically comes out of his arm and just and shoots. So the foam takes out takes the heat and evaporates. So there's water that falls all around my mech because it's because of the condensation, and you can hear the popping of the metal as it flexes because of the change of heat, and that's what is basically cooling me down.
Nice, and as a result, you go up 1 reactor die, which I believe should bring you back to a D6.
Yes. We go. And I'm just gonna let it go back to normal temperature and attempt to shroud once you allow me to do so.
Yeah, that's fine. Go right ahead.
Okay, so put away reactor die. It manages to go down back down to a 4, but at least I'm shrouded now.
Yep, it goes back to a 4, but you are shrouded. So yeah, the sort of that active camouflage takes place over you again, like the predator, and you are extremely difficult to see.
Perfect. So the Breaker Mammoth, which direction did you say they were?
Breaker Mammoth, they were northwest of you.
They're northwest of me, Cliffhammer.
No problem. So I'm still in mecha mode. So it's I'm gonna hunker down and start. First, I'll run, say, for the first 100, 150 meters. Then I'll really slow down to make sure that it's not noise that makes me heard as I get closer to the whatever is tailing us.
Okay. Roll a mobility test to see how stealthily you are able to do this.
Is there a modifier?
These guys, no. Roll 5. Okay. So you're able to slip up sort of along the river side, and you can see sort of acting almost like a pack of weasels, like popping their heads up and then ducking back down the riverside are those hammerheads, a pack of them, and they appear to be watching your group.
I've got a few more of them here. They don't seem hostile right now, as in they're not acting as a pack of fish like they were at the junkyard. They're just kind of looking at us. They don't seem to have seen me yet.
Sorry, you mean more of the swarm?
Yeah, the hammerheads, as in they just seem to be following us. Some pop their heads and try to look over the hill, and they're not moving right now. But they don't look like they're swarming like they were at the junkyard earlier.
Yeah, Cliffhammer, this is Warbucks. Does it look like they have a visual on us? Are they keeping an eye on where we are? Are they following us? Or is that what they're looking at?
That seems to be what they're doing. But I'm not gonna go closer and ask.
I think that if they're following us, we might be able to turn that to our advantage a little bit. I think we could probably lead them away, and first off, avoid exposing our base, the base that we're heading to. But we might be able to sort of counter ambush these guys. On the other hand, maybe we just want to get back to the base as quick as possible. I know my reactor could use some downtime.
And we've got this the rig to escort to the base that can't flee from those things if they decide to start swarming again.
Well, do we need to find out more about the situation? Maybe if we take out this group, that'll slow down whatever pursuit we have and give us more time.
Any way to know how many there are exactly, or they're two popping? They're
No, I think with that stealth roll, you'd be close enough to be able to get an accurate count. There's only 4.
So there's 4 of them.
Could I make a check of sorts to sort of check the map to see if there's anywhere between here and there where there might be a good ambush point for us? Like, I don't know, we go into a forest and we could like spread out, they get a little weird, and then we could counterattack?
Yeah, sure. Make a systems check and survey the coming grounds and terrains. Okay.
That is under my score.
Okay, right, yeah, so a 7 is well under. And yeah, so we put this survey out, and what comes back is that the road seems to continue along fairly even ground for a while, but at some point it passes between 2 hills, and the sides of these hills appear to be registering as difficult terrain for even your mechs.
So that sounds like a place we could maybe catch them coming through. We know they're going to have to go through that if we can get on either side of them.
Sounds like a good place to set up an ambush for them.
I'd say go on. I'm gonna stay here and keep a tab on them. Try the Warbucks does you do your good scanners as in the
If you can
got
keep
your
yourself
radar.
hidden, you can probably keep a good tab on them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, you know what? I could kind of slow. I'm not sure if stealth is really my forte. Do you think should I be surveillance or bait?
Well, seeing that if everybody goes normal speed, and you're gonna become bait by just not following up. So, I'd say make sure that the rig is forward so that it's not in danger. That's the main mission. And I'll stay in the back so that it's and I can cover you from afar. It's in case they try to catch up to you, and just keep tab in the meantime, just to make sure what they're doing.
All right, so we've got something that we are transporting already. That is the case?
You are accompanying the tech transport truck with its
Right,
driver.
so there's a truck.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so I'll stay with the truck because I can protect the truck with my energy shield and my body. And we are probably the weakest link. So why don't we go forward? I don't know who else wants to come with. Some of y'all can peel off and stay behind and try to get behind them. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, I'll stick with the truck.
I'll keep a visual tab as they go on and try to follow you guys.
Which will put you roughly behind them as well. So that's yeah.
What about Charlie Squad?
Charlie Squad says that they will go where you'd like them to, but they could take perches on the sides of the hill if they have enough time to get up them. If you think they will.
We could send them up ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can try to slip away and get ahead of us.
Perfect.
And considering that those things, they were just 200 meters away, and we barely have them on scope, so Charlie should a bit fan out in front of us to make sure that there's no little herds like this that are hiding behind a hill.
Okay. Very nice. Okay, so
all right, I think.
Sorry.
While they're doing that, I think my plan is to, with my mech, it's a little sort of wrecked anyway. I'm not necessarily going to actually use the nano shroud, but I'm gonna try to basically turn on as much noisy shit as possible so that I'm kind of a distraction.
Okay.
I'm not jumping up and down and waving, but being real obvious I'm here.
Okay. So this is the way I'd like to resolve this situation, because part of this encounter here was hopefully to test out the sort of medium-length activities that are explained in the Mecha Hack. And so that is sort of like the way you move short distances or you move near distances. So the way we're going to do that is just everyone's going to make one roll, and there's sort of like the worst way this could go or the best way this could go. And so what I'd like everyone to do is just sort of briefly describe your action in this ambush and make the roll most closely related to that. For instance, I'll start with Cliffhammer. Cliffhammer, you will certainly be taking a mobility test to remain quiet and stealth alongside of them, for instance. So why don't we go ahead and we'll start with I'll go in the order that I have on YouTube. So Breaker Mammoth, tell us briefly what you're doing and make the associated roll.
So I'm going to keep with the truck, and I think what I'm going to try to do is just keep very aware, so that they can't sneak up on the truck. since like I don't have the like superior long range weaponry and I'm good in like close range, I'm gonna just stay around, just like circle, like not circling, but like just sticking with the truck, making sure nothing gets to the truck.
Perfect. So that'll be a system. You'll make a systems test for this encounter. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yep. That's probably over, right?
That's over all my stats, so
Okay,
I don't know which one you're choosing, but they all fail.
It was systems, but I like everybody's plans, so I'm going to give you guys advantage. That's what I meant to say. So you can roll one more time. If it's under, then you'll pass. If not, then you'll fail. And that's the same for everybody. I think the plan is strong, so I'm giving each of you advantage on your rolls during the plan.
And
So
you said it was systems, right?
systems, yes.
So I believe a meat is a fail.
A meet is a fail in this game. Yeah, it has to be
And
under.
it's a fail.
Okay, so we have one fail. Next, Warbucks. Describe briefly what you're doing, and I believe it's going to involve a systems test, but let's just hear it, and then we'll make the rule.
Sure. Well, Warbucks is going to stay right next to the truck, like probably leading the way, like right in front of it. Basically, my whole plan is to both be obvious so that I'm easy for them to track, but also very aware of what we are getting into. I'm trying to basically I'm guarding the truck and being bait. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, so let's stick with the systems check for that, for the observant side. And you'll have advantage.
There we go. Looks like I did quite well.
Excellent. You rolled a 2, under a 15. So that's a success for your plan. Ghost Whisper. Tell us what you're doing briefly, and I'll tell you what roll to make. Ghost Whisper, you might be muted.
Sorry, I thought I unmuted there. I'm gonna try and be like Overwatch and trying to observe. So I
Okay.
guess that's
Will you probably be will you be one of the people making a strike when they do come? Like, will you be involved in the attack portion of the ambush?
Yeah, I want to definitely try and get early shot at the furthest distance possible.
Okay, so give me a
Well,
power test for your character.
Alright. That's a fail.
And with advantage, it was still a fail?
Oh, with advantage? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pass.
Okay, so you got 2 passes, 1 fail. And last up, Cliffhammer. You are, you actually have already told us you're going to be remaining stealthily with them. You can describe that a little bit, but you'll definitely be making me a systems.
Sometimes I want a visual because I'm passing behind the dune or something like that. But other than that, I'm trying to keep the same distance from them and follow them and indicate whenever I've got a chance to tell them, okay, they're getting closer. Oh no, they're stopping, and guide the crew that way. So as I don't get seen myself.
Excellent. You'll make the mobility test. Yep, exactly. And you rolled a 4 under 16. Perfect. So 3 successes out of 4. So this is the way the whole thing goes down, and I'll let you guys kind of finish the way it ends. But basically, it goes essentially perfectly to plan, because even though you had 1 failure, it was on the portion of your plan that you had sort of a plan A and a plan B. So Warbucks and Breaker Mammoth were both doing systems checks next to the truck. Warbucks succeeded, Breaker Mammoth did not. But that just means that as you go into between the cliffs, I think Breaker Mammoth's radar pings sort of go off a little bit. There's maybe a certain type of mica in the hills that is messing with that mech's systems, but Warbucks is okay. They've been upgraded, or his mech is taller, and they clear the disturbance. And you see them coming at exactly the right time. the attack is launched, and you successfully annihilate these 4 before they do any damage to the transport truck or before they follow you any closer to the base. So if you guys want to put a little flavor on that, feel free, but otherwise you'll be able to freely move ahead again. Your plan successfully carried out.
Well,
I
I
was
kept myself from. I didn't shoot. That's Cliffhammer. I didn't shoot because I don't want to be seen and get out of shroud. So I figured, as soon as the attack starts, I will walk toward a hill and stand on top of it and scan all around to make sure that the noise we're suddenly making shooting doesn't draw more of them.
Okay, so while anybody else gives me any flavor, you roll me a systems test. Breaker Mammoth, I thought I heard you start to say something. Just wanted to give you a second to add that if you'd like.
I was just gonna say that, like, as like the hammerheads approach, I was imagining the just like that resident AI just like perks up and is just like, yes, targets, and just like automatically like locks onto them and just charges forward and just like smash with the big dozer axe.
Nice.
Oh, no, it's a dozer shield now.
Dozer shield. Yeah, you come in and you bash him with the dozer shield.
Yeah.
And yeah, your enemies lay in a heap. And you guys continue for another 2.5 hours or so, and you reach the base. I'm going to be moving you guys over on roll 20 if you're able to see that. And you will see this circular base come up on the horizon. You see a few buildings popping out over its fence, and yeah, feel free to, if you can, drag your tokens onto that screen. And as you do, as you're walking up, Charlie Squadron, Yang is going to come stride up next to Ghost Whisper, and he's going to say, "Listen, I get the impression you're not exactly by the books. Do what you want, that's fine. Do me a favor, treat Major Halsworth with some respect when you see him. You'll know why." And he keeps walking forward, and you see, as he approaches, a huge door opens up in the front right here, and he steps through. As you guys enter, what you'll see here is this map. I think I kind of messed up a little bit here. What you should see is this is one building in front of you, but it is sort of got like 2 buildings on the side with like a large walk through so that mechs can fit underneath it to reach the center courtyard. And so you have to kind of walk under this building. And when you do, you come into the center, and yeah, you're looking at a military base. There are a variety of buildings around you. You wouldn't know what they are, but I'm sure most of you could guess, having seen a militia base before, at least once in the past, that there's some bunkers, some barracks, a mess hall, probably a mechanics bay for the mechs, and a headquarters. I think we only have 2 people on the screen right now. Just want to make sure. Who are we missing? Got Nathan, got Cliffhammer. I'm gonna pull in Chad's character because he's not on yet, and plan
For
Breaker Memo.
For whatever reason, my computer refuses to let me like click on the token or move it.
That's really weird.
And I think that is very much a computer.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm just gonna put.
Oh,
those.
now it works.
Oh, good.
Thankfully. Well, that was weird.
Okay. Well, that's good. So yeah, you guys are in the base. There's a lot of activity going around. There's a lot of people moving around in here, presumably doing their jobs. And there's a man, if you scroll up in Discord a little bit to the top of the pictures that I posted tonight, he has a goatee, dark hair, parted on the side, medium build, medium height, wearing a well-kept militia uniform. These have been handed down for the most part, but this one is in particularly good shape. And he comes walking up towards the mechs on the ground, very small, and you hear from your external speaker pickup come through your audio. He says, "Hello, name's Major Hallsworth, and this is my base. Are you the crew we're expecting? Echo Squadron? Charlie Squadron?"
Charlie Squadron's here, and Echo Squadron's here too.
And like Phantom Striker comes in behind you. He goes, "Yes, Major, we're here." And Major Hallsworth says, "Oh, Phantom Striker, it's good to see you. I'm glad you got a new team outfitted. It's good to have you at my side." "It's good to see you, Major." He opens up his hatch and gives... No, actually, he has his mech salute. Major Hallsworth. His mech pulls his hand up and salutes the Major, and the Major returns it. He says, "I must make these guys Echo Squadron. It's a pleasure to have you. I'm glad you were able to pick up Charlie on your way."
Warbucks goes immediately to attention.
He goes to attention. Nice. "Well met." And he goes to attention. Ghost Whisper, what was that?
Would definitely go to the position of attention and port arms with a sword, I guess. However that would be done.
Oh, nice. Yeah, very official.
I haven't done that with a saber.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you do that with one of these swords, but I think you'd figure out a way. I mean, it's a huge mech, so it would look right, and you'd know how to do it. And he says, "Oh, official. All right. Listen, if I were you, first thing I'd do is bring your mechs over to the bay. It gets busy this time of day, and the sooner you get them in, the sooner they can get them out for you. I'm sure they need a little bit of fixing up. I heard you ran into a whole swarm."
Nothing we couldn't handle, sir.
That's what I like to hear. Well, if you get your mechs over in there, over in the mechanic shop, I have a whole bunch of debriefings to hear and 10,000 other piles of bullshit, but I'd like to hear your debriefing in 8 hours, say in the headquarters.
Works for me.
Okay.
Sounds good, sir.
So I'm going to essentially be giving you guys 8 hours. So basically it's a forced full red. I mean, you could choose not to take it, but there are mechanics here at your disposal, and you have 8 hours to kill. So in exchange for an inspiration point, I'd like you guys to give me some descriptions of the priority things that you would be doing here. Let's go in the same order again. I'm sorry, I should always do that because you guys can't always see what I see. Let's just always go in this YouTube order. So Breaker Mammoth, you can start us off, and Warbucks will follow him, followed by Ghost Whisperer, followed by Cliffhammer.
I think he's gonna try to get like a good proper meal in him and try to find like what sort of like nice coffee, maybe trade something for a bit of booze, and then he's going to also spend some time trying to collect like info on what the mission is going forward and what the current situation is. And then that's basically it. He'll also submit his robot to mechanics to get it, fixed and all that.
Perfect. And when you go to the mechanic shop, you will oops, I have wrong folder. You will meet the lead mechanic, whose name is... Where'd it go? Why is this suddenly not here? Oh, apparently Engineer Male. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. You meet Travis, and Travis looks like this. I will be posting him up in Discord for you. And he says, "Oh, hey, this is an interesting looking machine you got here. What'd you take her off of a highway job?" Referring to the fact that she's construction based.
Actually, I mean, I was just kind of guarding them for, for a contract or whatever. Seems they were built during the war. So whoever they did decided to take this stuff in a storehouse for 100 years.
Oh.
It's got some weird stuff about it, I'll say. It's got an AI.
AI. He says, "I'm gonna have to."
I would. It's a really dedicated AI. I'll say that. So, I don't know. Watch yourself.
He says, "Interesting. I'll have to get Sophia over here. She's the expert on AI." Post a picture of Sophia, though you haven't seen her yet. And he goes, "Okay. Well, it'll take a few hours. I'll take a look at her. Make sure we get their armor fixed up for sure. If you got most of the day, then she should be in perfect fighting shape by the time you come back." Did you have anything? And now, so meta-wise, what I'm about to ask you about is, I know you guys had all kind of found some stuff. So if any of those, I can't remember exactly what you had, but if any of those were modules or weapons that needed to be attached or anything like that, so he's going to say, did you have anything stored in your storage that you needed hooked up, attached, reloaded, or anything like that?
Another meta thing. Did I not get the throne quality added?
No, you have.
When we got it?
No, that actually takes the full long rest while healing to be attached to whatever weapon it is that you're applying it to.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I got this some real good chain and a real good winch that I think if you attach it right, I can turn that axe into a flail.
Huh. Okay. All right, I'll make a note. I'll get that hooked up for you. Yeah, thrown weapon. Good idea.
Thank you kindly.
Good job. So you can take a point of inspiration, and I'm going to come back to you again in a little bit and have you roll a systems roll to see what kind of information you get while you're poking around the base. But let's go over to Warbucks and see what he's doing for the 8 hours.
Okay, so I think his priority. So I brought the plasma upgrade, I believe is what that was.
Yes, it ignores armor, I believe.
Yeah, so
yes,
I need that installed. Just mechanically, need that installed on my gun. So I was good. It's a plasma upgrade to my rifle, I guess.
Yeah. So he goes, all right. So inside the barrel, we'll have to run the plasma fields so they can charge the bullets on their way out. All right, that's a bit of a job. I'll get one of the mechanics to work on that.
All right. So Danny is that's he's gonna basically use all of his charm and like rich guy deal making ability to like. He basically wants to make sure. Now he's not trying to get preferential treatment, but he's basically like, whatever you need, man, we'll get it for you. He's gonna like pull out the original shop manual for his mech and like, if this will help, take this. If you guys need anything, like basically, I don't know if at this point, money would help in any way. If Denny can like buy, snacks and drinks for the repair crew. Basically, he's super into this, and he's gonna hang out here as much as possible. Like probably I'll get some food and I'll take a nap, whatever. But probably I'll be doing it like on a cot next to where all this is happening because he's super into it. But he's basically gonna try to like be there and kind of like have like a not a party almost, but he's gonna fire up the repair guys. That's his whole deal.
Yeah. He's the guy that sits behind the guy while they're fixing the car and is like, "Oh, that's cool, man. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
But okay.
Bringing dudes coffee and
I'm going to come back to you for a presence check in a little bit to wrap that up. But Ghost Whisper, how do you spend your 8 hours? And we can start, of course, at the mechanic shop if you have anything to request there.
I guess I'll refrain from attaching the sniper scope to an SMG, and go with this acid module. Is that something that specifically is ballistic, or?
No, it doesn't give anything like that in the rules, which I was a little surprised about, but it seems like it could be attached to either your SMG or your sword.
I guess I'll go with the sword then, my friend.
Yeah, and so while you're talking to him, Travis is like, "Oh, nice choice." So, acid on the sword, man, this is gonna be beast. And he gets pumped. He goes, "Yeah, all right." He goes, I'm gonna put someone special on that one. That's very cool." And so he says, "And otherwise, it looks like she's in real good shape. You seem to take care of her. Have you had her long?"
And she would say that she just got her. She hasn't even really got to put a touch on her, but she got her purring, and she runs real nice. But she's still waiting on a package to really put her into where she wants her.
He says, "Okay, and what was your call sign again?"
They call me Ghost.
Ghost.
I call myself Whisper. Ghost Whisper.
Very nice. We'll set you up. Get relaxed. Get yourself some food, some chow, and she'll be ready for you.
Look forward to it.
Okay,
I'll
so
bring you back something nice.
cool. All right, and anything else you want to do? What will you spend your time mostly doing?
She's gonna look into a package that she's supposed to be getting delivered, which is her rifle, which has been misplaced. So
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay. I'll have you roll some of the systems check for me in a little bit, and we'll get to Cliffhammer, and then we'll do the rolls.
So as I meet the mechanic, explain the fact that, well, I've been driving Cliffhammer mostly as, you know, it's the long run, as in I carry stuff for a while. I haven't pushed the engine that hard because it's always just a question of, you know, pulling a trailer from when I pick up. Wasn't I told that there was a quartermaster or something here that I could meet and empty all this stuff that's in the trailer?
Oh, Travis says, "Yeah, all right. That's actually me too. Hello, I'm Quartermaster Travis." He goes, "I use all the goods for the fixing, so I'm the guy who knows what we need. Is this your trailer then?" And he points to what you're pulling.
Yeah. Normally I pull it, you know, on the hitch, but the fights, the acid went through some of the actuators, and I didn't feel like transforming it again, and that's why I walked on the way back. But and that's something that you need to look into, because the pushing the engine in the fight basically made something go odd, and I don't like the sound it makes. So you're gonna have to look into that.
Okay, will do.
And some of you know, the before we got the call to join the militia, I found a few ruined vehicles in the collapsed parking lot, but not too far from where we had to gather. So you got engine parts in there. A lot of it is rusty. I tried to clean up a few of them, but you know, if there's something that could interest you, I'm sure we can chat price.
Excellent. And did you have any modules or anything that needed to be added to weapons or anything that I need to be aware of?
Maybe if you can do something so that because right now in the trailer I have this can that seems to be able to jam the communications of a foe. If you have a way to fix it, just so that I can pick it up faster, because right now it's not like the grenade that I already had a hookup for it. It's that's not something that I could just, and because of the transformation, if I just hang it from the hip, it's gonna crush as I switch mode.
You want to
So
put the sensor jammer, the consumable item, attached to your trailer so that you can always use it regardless of whether you're in vehicle form or...
That's it.
That's it. Okay, got it. He says, "Yeah, that's a good idea. Portable sensor jammer. That's good. Okay, yeah, I can do that." And so let's do the rolls in the reverse order. You give me a presence check, Cliffhammer.
Let's go for that. Yeah. Presence.
Oh, wow.
And I managed to get it.
You managed to get it. Okay, so he's going to offer you on the upper end, and he says, "You got some stuff in here I can use. I don't think the Major would clear me to offer you any more than maybe 125. But, given what's going on, I don't know who else you're going to find to buy it anyway, so it's up to you."
Well, I'll take it, seeing that you're also fixing up, Cliffhammer, and I don't have to haul it further. Let's say 150, and you keep the trailer, so I don't have to pull it.
Well, don't you want the sensor jammer added to the trailer?
Well, no, mainly to the frame of the mecha itself, so that
okay. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, yeah, he says, okay, yeah, I could use a trailer like this around the base. Okay, $150.
Perfect.
And yeah.
Fist bump.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, just fist bump. I agree with the deal.
Perfect. So I wanted to round that roll up before you actually finished off saying what you do for the rest of 8 hours, because you have 150 on you. That can be used at you're not going to find, this isn't like a fantasy world where you constantly run into towns with shops. However, that could be used at like the bases supply shops, other bases mechanic shops to buy parts, or perhaps from like scavengers or treasure hunters that you might run into on the road. So you could use that here, though you don't, of course, know what they might have.
Well, right now, considering that I've no idea where we're heading after or anything, I'm just gonna take the money and maybe make sure that I've got a good meal in me, find a good bottle.
Nice.
And chill, because looking back, I'm running on almost 48 hours without actual real sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to crash in a corner somewhere.
Nice. All right, and Ghost Whisper, which check was it for you? Oh, that's right. You go over to the supply shop, and you meet Henry. And Henry would be the person that might get deliveries in, and he would store them at the supply shop. So roll me give me a systems check. It's sort of functioning as systemic luck. If you pass, they'll have gotten your delivery. If you fail, then they will have not gotten your delivery yet.
Oh. How was this doing? Okay. That's a pass.
So Henry, he goes digging through. He comes back with this tag. He goes, "Yeah, we did get something. It's around back. It's pretty big. Is it a rifle? We've been taking bets on it. I'm pretty sure it's a rifle."
If that's the case, they can have this back. She wouldn't need the SMG anymore.
Okay, so you'll actually tell that, I think, probably to Travis, because you'll have to have him unload the SMG from the mech manually, probably, and then bring the rifle on. But he will do that for you, and he will replace your SMG with the shoulder-mounted sniper rifle. However, he tells you, because you got it to him late, he won't be able to add, he doesn't have enough time to add the sniper rifle before your debriefing.
Oh.
Sorry, no, no,
She
no.
would say that.
I didn't mean sniper rifle. He'll be able to add the sniper rifle. He won't be able to add the sniper scope that you have to the sniper rifle. That's what I meant to say.
Um, yeah, she would tell him that it's not a rush job, so to take his time. That she's just glad that it's been found.
Perfect. Yeah, so he will modify your guns for you. Warbucks, give me a presence check.
Okay.
Okay, I'm glad. I didn't want to be mean to you after I already stalled your stalled your mech. So they are very pleased with your return. You basically have a great day. Um, it's like what do you call it? Outside of a football game, you're like tailgating, basically, outside the mechanic shop, and it goes real well. They probably pay special attention to your mech, and like really not like in a mechanic way, but they really like polish her up a bit because they're impressed with how authentic and vintage she is. So they really, they give her the nines, and she looks shiny and new.
That's excellent. I make sure everybody has as many coffees and hot dogs as they want. I'm hoping to really get kind of a bond with these dudes, and I'm gonna get them to sign my jacket, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's a little like going to a concert for him.
Yeah. And they do that, like you get it. So like before you leave that day, it gets signed, and you just have a
I'm gonna sign the
bash.
Like get him to.
Oh yeah, even better. With a blowtorch.
We'll have a big deal. Like we'll have like a ceremony with the service manual, and get everybody put their name in.
Oh man, you're like a favorite in the mechanic shop now. Okay, Breaker Mammoth. I was gonna have you roll a systems check to gather information. So give me that roll. Oh, that's right. You have to do it manually. Oh, no, you don't, because of that. Oh, perfect. 10 under 11. Just made it. So, you're actually able to gather some information, and what you find out is that this base is really less of a staging base, and it seems to be set up more as like a defense base, as if it's defending something particular. Although not many people in the base, nobody you came across, knows what that might be.
So, just to understand, it's like this isn't an area where they're like, the army sets up to like send things out. It's like this thing is kind of a fort.
Yeah.
And whatever it's defending is inside the fort.
That is basic. Yeah, that's the gist you get. You don't know if it's inside the fort necessarily, or if it could be a tech. For all you know, it could be some sort of like satellite or something like that, where it's the computers that access the satellite that's here. But there seems to be the general feeling amongst the soldiers that are here is that they've served at like bases where they run constant practice drills and things like that. And this base really isn't like that. It's more really tight, like everything gets done inside the base or just around the perimeter. They don't go on like long-term training missions or anything like that. So it's a little bit of a different base, and they think it's because they're protecting something here, or access to something.
That is curious and a bit concerning, because I don't know what it is. All right.
Interesting, given your background, right? That you used to protect things. Okay, so what I'd like to do here is take a 12-minute break till 10:30. 11-minute break, actually. I just watched my clock move. So we'll take our kind of mid-session break here. I'm going to take a bio break, grab another can of soda, and we'll get back here at 10:30 and start part 2 of session 2.
Awesome.
Right on. See you in a couple minutes.
Cool. See you guys in 11 minutes.
Awesome.
Uh,
See you soon.
I'm doing alright. Just broke my finger. Mm, Yeah. Yeah, it's been a few days, and I was being stubborn, and finally went in, and
And welcome back, everybody. We are going to get right back into the role playing, because that's what we were doing at the time. There was not action yet. So we're going to pick back up. We're going to time skip 8 hours later. It's getting to be a little bit later in the evening. It's dark out, but there are lights all around the base, so it's well lit. And your squadron makes its way over to the command, and you are greeted promptly by Major Hullcrest, who you had already met. Now, however, you're meeting on his level. You can see him a little bit better. And he says, come in. We have to talk. And he just kind of gets you guys in, gestures to some chairs or stand or whatever you want to do. And he sits back. He's got two guys on computers behind him, and he sits on this like swivel chair and turns around. He goes, "All right, one of you, let me know what you were told by the Colorado militia. I need to know how informed you are."
Well, I was told I could unload my my cargo here, and I did. Don't know much more.
He goes, "Interesting. Okay. He says, "You're delivering those tech parts because we have access to a shared research center between us and the Columbus Federation. It is of the utmost importance that we keep it safe and continue the research that's going on in there, hence why we needed the tech delivered promptly. However, I hope you are happy to hear that sorry, I was looking at the wrong notes. That I'm going to be able to return you to Colorado. You have done your job well. I will make sure to note as much to Captain Cinda. But as much as I'd like to keep you, I can't think of a justification for continuing to borrow another militia's forces, considering the task has been completed. However, I want to give you a chance to ask any questions you might have. We do need to share information between the federations, and I'm fairly happy to do so as far as I am allowed. So, any questions? Otherwise, you can hit the bunks and pick your mechs up in the morning to head out.
I wanted to know, what's this fort protecting?
He says, well, that is our side of the access to the research center. There are two entrances, one in the Missouri Federation and one in the Columbus Federation. We guard ours.
Are you saying that there's like a huge underground complex beneath us?
Not beneath us, but there's a entrance to a path that will take you to an underground research center. Yes, that is correct.
Huh.
Please don't ask me what they're researching there, because I cannot tell you.
From what I know of the first time, this time's a little bit different, and it's a little bit weird when we were coming here. There was a group of them that we got them. We got the best of them, but they were following us. I'm not sure if they were trying to ambush us or if they were trying to follow us here. But wondered, do you know something about what they're after this time?
Can you describe their shape?
Yeah. So it's that kind of hammerhead.
Yep.
Hammerhead ones, right? Yeah. So they traveled in this sort of pack. They had this hammerhead-like shape. I'll give them the whole rundown.
And he taps on the table as you're talking, and he kind of taps on the back of one of the guys at the computer. And as you're talking, he flips up a picture of that hammerhead on the screen. And he says, "This here, right, that you're talking about?" And it is what you're talking about.
Yes, that is what we took out on the way here.
He says, so I can't get into details with their purpose. We're unsure. We have some suspicions. It's clearly different than the last time. We've all heard the stories. We know it was a complete full-on attack, and that is clearly not what we're seeing here. However, I won't venture any guesses. In terms of... sorry, I was trying to keep track of my responses. In terms of these hammerheads, We've done research, as you can see. We have no indication that they have severe intelligence, though intelligence exists amongst the alien species, to be sure. These seem to have never been anything more than pawns. Perhaps their mission was to destroy mech pilots, and they were simply trying to carry it out with fewer numbers. I cannot say. This is interesting, though. I will have it researched.
Well, any data we have, we will share.
Any other questions?
Well, while he's answering Warbucks, I'm trying to look over the guy's shoulders to see what they're typing.
Okay, roll me systems.
Even.
You can't make it out. You can't see what it is that they're typing. If you want to look at the screen instead of trying to anticipate what they're typing and see what it is that they're looking at, I'll give you another attempt at systems to do that. It'll obviously gain you less information.
So yeah, we'll try that. Really curious if they're why do you need to be having two computers to talk to us? This one I get.
Okay, so you're able to see on the screen that he's operating a essentially his own systems check, what seems to be a large-ranged radar. Actually, maybe I need to buff up on some of my sci-fi terminology. I'm not sure what he might be using here, but it seems like it's used to sense, to pick up aerial craft. So probably radar.
It's long-range scanner, so.
Long-range scanner. Yeah, and it's blipping around, and as you're looking at it, you notice a blip in the far right corner. And then a blip getting a little bit closer, and a blip getting a little bit closer. What do you do?
Does he look worried about that, or did he just not notice? Or
he's still pointing at you. The guy at the computer is glancing over towards his left at the guy who's working on the other screen, as they're discussing putting in an order to research these hammerheads' intelligence further.
I'll just raise my hand and say, you know, I'm not the military guy here, and I'm not the. What are those on the scope?
And the two at the computer look over and they go, "Shit, Major, what is this?" And the Major turns around and he sees it, and he goes, "How fast is that moving?" And they go, "It's fast, free fall. It's moving quickly." And you see the blip coming. He goes, "Brace for impact in 3, 2, 1," and you hear like about, couldn't be further than like a football field and a half, 150 yards away. This huge impact. Then followed by almost like the scream of something else with a unusual shape coming through the air, and something hits the ground closer, and then you hear another, and you hear, and you look out the window straight ahead. Anyone looking straight, sort of to the left, out the windows that are ahead and to the left, you see this like pod hit one of the buildings, and sort of skitter over the roof of it, and come to a stop with sparks flying out of it, and you see this creature climb out of it. It's hard to make out from here. At least at first glance, you can only make out the shadows of something much larger, at least, than those hammerheads. Maybe the thing is 15 feet from head to tail, but it's standing on it. When it comes out, its silhouette gives off a shape almost like a bat on the ground, or like a gorilla walking, like a two-legged walk with a front support. and the noises are going off everywhere. Wah, wah, wah. And the major is going, pick this up, scoot it over there. And he turns back to you. He goes, there might be a change of plans. I might need you. He says, you just get into your mechs right now. Try to hold off whatever just landed. We need to get your tech down the tunnel and start sealing off the barriers. Hold them off as long as you can until you hear my radio signal, and I'll give you a ping as to where to meet me. Just get out there and get in those suits.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Yes, sir. Come on, guys, let's go.
And so you come running out the front doors, and you're gonna have to pull your stuff over again. I'm gonna pull them over, so don't worry. So these are your actual human characters right now. You're not in your mech chassis. Just to be clear, that purple oval on the Roll20 screen is the door you just came out of. When you come out, you see this like hellscape. You know, there's like this huge wall of fire that's like angled towards the door. There's enough room for you guys to get out, but you could see it right in front of you, sort of crossing the courtyard. It's filling with smoke. Something seems to have hit here, but it wasn't any sort of bomb. It was like some sort of like napalm trail, and it just like the ground itself is burning right in front of you. You look around you, and what you're going to see are some of the other buildings that you might have visited earlier in the day, the bunks, and ahead of you, towards where the line of fire sort of pitters out, you could make out just barely the side entrance to the mechanic shop. What do you guys do?
You're gonna have to dash.
Yeah, I sprint towards the mechanic shop.
Everybody, roll me a mobility check as you're running.
Anybody fire on that?
Barely fail.
Oh, you failed as well? Okay, so I got one pass
Definitely
and
fit.
yeah, 3 fails. Okay.
I'm uneven.
So there's embers whipping around here, blowing in the face. There's pieces of the ground sort of shifting from the wind. The dust is picking up and sort of carrying this burning earth, and it's kind of swarming around. Everybody except Cameron is held up by what will be one combat turn. So Cameron, you reach the mechanic. Cameron, Breaker Mammoth. You reach the mechanic shop first, and the door is jammed shut. Give me a power check to try to break it in, if that's what you want to in fact do. Otherwise, I'm sorry, I sort of assumed that. I should not have. What would you like to do with this door?
I mean, I was gonna like if the door is jammed, I was gonna try to break my way through.
Yeah. So roll me a power check.
So I imagine I find like a nice piece of rebar or something that's broken off, and I just jam it through, just lever it open.
Yeah, you get it perfect, between the floor and the jam, and then you just pry it. It pops right open, springs, the little bolt thing breaks, and it swings open. There's so much dust in the air, and you can really see it here because there's a bunch of lights, and it's really hard to. It's a little hard to see, I should say. But you see your mech. I imagine you climb in it.
I do, and I imagine that the AI is just he's just excited and has pre-fired up a whole bunch of stuff.
Nice. Yeah. So it's already waiting for you.
it is just like, I don't know, what's the word? It's like vibrating with excitement to go and fight more aliens.
Perfect. Cliffhammer, Warbucks, and Ghost Whisper. You guys reach the door after him. Again, air's thick with dust. You see your mechs. You run towards them. Ghost Whisper, you notice, though the paint is wet and getting scratched a bit, there is a sort of phantom-like ghost painted on one of the panels of your striker as you approach it. And you each climb in to the cockpits. So let's just pop back over to Breaker Mammoth for a second. Your mech roars to life, and you burst through the mechanic shop out into the courtyard. I probably shouldn't have even bothered moving your guys' tokens here, because I have to just move you right over here. And do Cameron first. Alright, Cameron, what you see first is a huge crater in the northeast corner of the base. It's hit the wall and sort of broken that section of the circular wall. It's hit part of the mess hall, and what you see is that what had already climbed out before you had gotten to your mech sorry, are 4 of those hammerheads, and they're sort of like whipping their heads around in front of the crater. But what you see climbing out behind them, is altogether different. I'm going to post another picture. So this creature climbs out of this massive pod, much larger than the one that you saw hit the roof of the other building. 2 massive arms come out first, seemingly fractured with a light teal light that sort of runs a stone-colored skin of its 2 massive arms, and it pulls itself out. You see a head with a sort of triceratops-like dish coming up the back of it, with another of those teal lights sort of emanating from its forehead, and it climbs fully out, and you see this thing is at least 40 feet tall. So a little bigger than maybe some mechs, about average with some others, and smaller than some of the really grand mechs. But a very large beast comes climbing out. Cameron, you will get to act 1 turn on your own for succeeding the run through the courtyard, and then I'm going to have everybody roll initiative. So Cameron, what do you do standing off in this courtyard alone, seeing this huge creature climbing out of this pod?
I'm guessing like there's not really an obvious like form of cover between me and it, so I think I might just sort of maneuver myself into sort of a better position with like the flames to my back, and just start like spraying autocannon fire at the little ones.
Okay, so I'm going to move your token a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is your maximum movement, back over towards the flame. Now that does put you at 1, 2, 3. So that puts you at, oh shoot, my ranges. I should have learned these better. Oh, there's the quick reference. Thank you, Jeff. You're awesome. 12, so they are, one of them at least is 12 squares away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. No, that one's 10. Okay, so you have 1 at 10 squares and 1 at 11. So that means they are at a near distance. So if your weapon strikes at near, which I believe it does, then you are good to go. Roll me the power test. Oh, you did already. Oh no, that was the door breaking, sorry.
Yeah, that was the door break. It seems the it's decided that it doesn't like being used. Let's see if it.
Oh, wait, it might be because I had it clicked. Why don't you try clicking it now? Maybe it's because I moved you. Oh, wait, you're in...
Yeah, I figured it out.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, you're in the thing. Okay, it hits. Barely, but it does end up hitting. So if it hits, they do
I think
5.
I think it misses actually because it's I attacked with a 16 under a target of 14.
Yeah, I read that wrong. Okay. So, yep, there's just so much dust from the impact of the pod. It's very hard to make out the hammerheads. They are smaller foes. So, yeah, you're not able to hit it. Now, everybody roll me initiative, please.
Just gonna drop myself on the map.
Could you remind me of initiative?
Oh, initiative is either a systems or mobility test. And if you fail, you go after the attacking creature. If you succeed, you go before the attacking creature.
Either one, I pass.
Okay.
I can see.
S-
I fail.
Jeff is going to go after. Cameron's going to go after. Chad's going to go before, and Nathan's going to go before. Okay, so, wait, I just forgot what I just said. Okay, so yeah, Cameron and Nathan and Chad. Okay, so, let's start with either Nathan or Chad, because Breaker Mammoth kind of just acted. So, either Nathan or Chad, go ahead, and you are still in the bay right now. It is going to be, let's say, half of your movement to come out of the bay. So you can move an additional 3 standard squares once you come out.
I'll concede to Nathan to go.
Nathan, tell us what Warbucks does.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't understand what was just said. All right. So Warbucks is going to, I guess, use the rest of the movement to, I guess that gets me to the door, right?
No, I said you're going to use 3 movement. Oh, how much movement do you have? Are you slower than them, or are you the standard 6?
No.
Oh, you're
I
6.
think everybody's got the same movement, right?
That's what I thought, yeah. Okay.
Is left.
So you have 3 additional squares after the door.
Okay, well, I guess I'm just coming right out the door. That's
Okay.
Straight out. And I'm gonna just.
So now you, by the way, for the first time, you come like bursting out of he sort of almost broke the door as he came out because it wasn't all the way open yet. So you come kind of out of that little bit of wreckage, and you see this massive creature in front of you, with the hammerheads kind of circling around, but only 4 of them.
All right, I'm gonna basically. I'll get on the radio. I'm like, all right, there's a bunch of the little guys, and there's one really big guy out here. So I'm gonna hunker down here. You can form up on me, and let's take him out. So I'm just gonna stay where I'm at right there, and pull out my shield, but then grab my plasma gun and take a shot at the big guy.
Awesome. Alright, give me that attack. And now he has what is called heavy plated armor. Oh, well, he has like the equivalent of like heavy plated armor, so he reduces damage by 1, any damage. However, the plasma has the ability to supersede that, but you miss. Now, I just want to take the opportunity, not that I'm telling you to use it, but want to remind everybody that you are up to full HP, full armor, you have all your reactor dice, and each of you has an inspiration for giving me those 8-hour descriptions. So that's where you're at right now. but you rolled a 17 over an 11, so that would be a fail.
I did. I missed.
So your shot just goes like, what is this with?
Well, actually, I think I named it plasma pistol, but this was whatever my plasma.
Oh.
My light plasma.
Gotcha.
Weapon.
You add the SMG and you added the plasma to it, so now it's a plasma, right? That's
Plasma.
perfect. Okay. So yeah, your plasma round, like, this is the first time you're firing it, and so what it does is, like, it's already a huge round, obviously. That's kind of the purpose of mechs, right? They hold these guns as pistols that are essentially, like, bigger than 50 cals. So this round comes flying out, and as it does, like, right as it comes out, instead of, like, the typical, like, orange bang, you see this, like, pinkish purple kind of bang at the end, and the bullet sort of has, like, a slight glow to it, like the old Fox 5 hockey games, and it goes whizzing, but it was like, as this creature had, like, fully climbed out and was, like, continuing to move its position, and so it hits where he was, but does not hit him. You miss.
Awesome, but I do have a big anime energy bullet gun.
Right, which is awesome and on the upside. Ghost Whisper. That is it for you, right? Because it was an automatic walk to get out, so then you can only take one action. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was my action. I'm good.
Perfect. Okay, so Ghost Whisper. It'll be 3 motion to get to the door, and then you'll have 3 additional squares after that. I'll move you. You can tell me this. You're basically, when you come out the door, so I know you're not looking at it on Roll20, you come out the door, and you're looking at that courtyard that you had seen before, and it's essentially like the big crater is straight ahead of you, but to the left a little bit, and that is... Oh, I always forget how to do the measurements. That is... So that is far. That is considered far from you. Your companions here are all near to your right as you come out the door, and the courtyard is still essentially empty. The aliens have not closed any of that distance as of yet. And you have the mess hall, although it is slightly broken on its end, it is to your left. It is near.
The rifle and the scope, is there anything that I need to annotate what they do?
Oh, well, I believe the scope... Sorry, I should have looked that up. I believe the scope gives... What does it give for... I actually don't know. I shouldn't say I believe, because I don't.
I got it here, so I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
There we go.
I was looking at modules, and that wasn't the right spot. Alright. So,
So I'm gonna have to forego that on this one anyways, because I need to move to be able to see out these doors. And then I'm gonna take a knee and brace right there and try to take out one of these little things. There's 4 little things and 1 big guy.
yes.
I'm gonna try to attempt to try to pick off a little guy.
Okay, so you're using it's your pistol, right?
The rifle.
Oh, with the sniper rifle. Right, you're just taking a shot with it. Sorry, I thought you couldn't do that, but that you just couldn't do you couldn't take the scopes action. Got it. Okay, so give me a power roll. Tell me if you pass or fail.
Pass.
Pass. Okay, roll the damage.
5.
Awesome. These guys are 5 HP. So you turn the corner, you kind of hug that corner, and you fire probably like right at the dirt sort of in front of this thing as they're sort of like hopping around, and like right as it sort of jumps into that line, this thing gets annihilated. Boom. He's out. And that is your full action turn. That is going to bring up Breaker Mammoth.
All right. So I think now that like we have the rest of the squad here, that I'm gonna start kind of like advancing so that I can get. Actually, I think the wrecking flail now has a near range. So I'm just gonna start swinging at the small ones. So I can just
Okay.
kind of,
Oh, so
I can still
this
hold
is
this area.
This is the axe, right? That you have the chain on now. So you're throwing it and you're doing
Yeah.
that attack. Perfect. Awesome. Cool. So roll me that power. Right, awesome. So you rolled a 3 under a 14. That is for a... Oh, if it hits, you only do 1 damage. Wow. All right. So
Yeah.
that one is actually right at the end of your range. So, like, what happens is you throw it, and it's, like, dead on, and the thing, like, starts to back up, and it, like, hits it in the chest, and it, like, draws a line, but it reaches the end of its chain, and it, like, pulls back to you in the winch, and you see the thing skitter backwards, and it hisses. You can hear it. It's loud, and it's like a cat hiss, but like through a megaphone.
I'm displeased with this, so I'm going to charge.
Okay, that's a move, right? That's one of your... Okay, and remind me how that works on this one?
So what it's written is I do a charge attack and I do a melee thing, and then I roll my reactor.
Charge, melee, roll reactor. Okay, so you'll move your character up to the alien there. This one. Actually, both of that and these would be in range, so it could also be one of these if you choose. Actually, I think it would have to be this one. But make your choice, move your character up to it, and then roll your melee, roll your reactor.
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna make my choice of the bottom one.
Okay.
Oof.
Okay, so fortunately, you land your strike. You do 6 damage. You kill the beast that you charge at. Your reactor, unfortunately, goes down a level as it seems you're charging. You're pumping your legs. This huge construction bot, and like even from back a little ways, Warbucks can see it sort of like change color from like that normal light blue to a sort of like almost with like a tinge of orange as it heats up a bit and sort of burns off a plating of its heat sink. And you downgrade a level. Those are your 2 turns, and now these guys will strike. Alright, so this little guy is going to come up on Breaker Mammoth. This little guy will come after the striker. There it goes. And this guy is going to step forward a little bit. Alright, and so down on this the southern side of the complex where Breaker Mammoth charged one of the hammerhead aliens, one of them strikes at him. Can you please roll me a systems test?
Me?
Yes. And I'm sorry, I actually forgot one thing. So you succeed. You need to take 1 damage for me because you landed a melee damage on that first on that alien, and when you like crushed it with your axe, its blood sprayed up at you and started to sizzle on your armor. You can allocate that to armor or chassis, however you choose. But as for this one, it comes up, and they're very fast, and it's very dusty in here. It's very hard to see, so you rely on your systems, and you're tracking it, and you see it come at one of your legs, but you're able to swing the leg the correct way out of its way, and it sort of skitters underneath you after missing its attack. Another alien on the north side comes running in at Ghost Whisper who had just taken out the hammerhead in front of it. Ghost Whisper, roll me a systems test.
15/11.
15/11, okay. So they deal that. So you take, this thing comes at you, and it sort of like, it reads your movements. It knows you're up against the wall on your left side. So it kind of comes around your right side and then kind of shoots in at you, leaving you very little space to dodge with. And it claws at some of your systems in the leg and deals 4 damage. You can allocate that. 4 is the limit for armor. I don't even think you have 4 armor. I'm not sure, but so you can allocate that as you can to armor or HP. And I need. What is it? So 1 close, 2 close or near. Yep. Okay. So I need Warbucks. And sorry, Breaker Mammoth, but you again, to roll me a presence test.
So that's a no.
Okay.
There's no modifier or anything.
No, just straight roll. Okay. So this creature walking on these. The back legs are small, the front legs are massive, like elephant legs, but even bigger. This thing's 45 feet tall. And it sends out this booming scream that, like, shakes the cockpit. Warbucks, you're far enough away, it's intimidating, but it doesn't press you at all. However, Breaker Mammoth, being sort of isolated on that side of it and being so close, you are shook. I need you to roll your reactor die. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Wow. Was that all? Were you already down to a 4?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I only have a D6.
Yeah, wow, that's rough. Okay, so your core heats up and overheats. You won't be able to move on your next turn. You'll have to allow it to cool down. Wow.
You're gonna have to rein in that rogue AI there.
Or find a way to upgrade that reactor. Yeah, right, that rogue AI. But that brings up Cliffhammer. So again, same process as for everybody else. It'll take you 3 movement to reach the door, and then you'll have 3 squares left once you reach the door, and you can move where you start moving in the direction that you'd like. You might be muted, Cliffhammer.
There we go. Can you put the token for Ghost? Because that's mine that you moved earlier. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't put yours. Yep, sorry. There we go. Oh, I understand now. I understand. For Ghost, I put the wrong one.
I don't need to be there twice.
Yeah. No, I didn't realize what I did. Okay, so this is gonna go here. Yep, perfect. Okay.
So you said that there was a lot of dust and things are shaking up and all. So I'm gonna use that first to not be noticed, and especially since that guy here is busy on Ghost, and my first action is just simply to move as stealthily as possible and try and hide so that I can benefit from my shooting from hiding.
Okay, and you can, just to be clear, you can start anywhere from here. That whole blue oval is the circle, is the bay door. So you can go through anywhere between those two, wherever puts you in a better position of where you want to start.
All I want is a line of sight so that
Perfect.
I can shoot. The way I see it is I've got a 50 cal, as in it's something that's anti-personal on the top of the Jeep when I'm driving. I don't see myself shooting at the big thing with that, so cleaning up the smaller ones is probably the best use.
Gotcha.
So I will shoot. And do you consider that I can be hidden?
Where exactly? So you just get a line of sight within the bay door. You don't move out.
Yes, I don't move out for now.
Then absolutely, we'll consider you hidden.
Okay,
Between
so-
the
and I'm
shaking, the dust blowing, and the fire spreading all over the place, yeah, absolutely, you are hidden in there. There's no way they could keep track of how many pilots ran in. I don't even think they saw you. So, yep, totally.
So I'm gonna shoot from hiding on the one that's on Ghost. Go. Go. I think that's a hit.
Yes, 7 under 13 is a hit. You do.
And I'm gonna add my
Oh right, absolutely.
my ambush attack for an extra 1.
Well, that's perfect. Their HP is 5. Actually, I think that one actually already had 1 damage, but that's okay. Either way, yeah. How does so that's a 50 cal, and he's kind of close to Ghost. So how do you angle that shot? How do you make sure that takes that thing out? But it's a beautiful shot, and it ends up working.
I basically spray, as in from outside going in, because I don't want to be too close to Ghost, so that I don't spray him instead.
Right.
Or rather her. So I make sure that once I manage to see some of the blue blood start going up, I focus on that part so that it goes through the armor and makes it fall and break pieces off.
Awesome. Yeah, it comes in and just and you know how 50 cals, like, it's just blowing chunks off. So yeah, you eat this thing up and turn it to Swiss cheese. That is a full round. I need to make 2 really quick rolls. Okay. So over your comms, you hear, God damn son of a bitch, listen, we're gonna need you to hold them a little bit longer than expected. One of those pods damaged the bay door to get down into the tunnels. We're getting it fixed up and running as soon as we can. Please, hold them off as long as possible. And you can, of course, react to that, and still the action in front of you. We'll keep going in the same order now as the new one that we started with. So that would be Warbucks.
Okay. Well, I'll just get on the comm and say, all right, we will hold these guys off as long as we can. What was the idea? Sorry, this is sort of out. Was the idea that we were going to follow them, or that like we're going to go down the tunnel after them?
He wasn't really clear or sure, it seems. This is all unexpected, but he's going to call you back to the tunnels, and he might need you to accompany him down the tunnels, depending on who's there.
Well, I will just agree that we will hold them here if we can. And okay, so looks like Breaker Mammoth is in trouble. Can't do anything. Getting beat down over there. I guess that's I think that's like a 2. It's like a far move. Is that?
I don't think so. I think it's. Wait, what is it?
Far is like 12 squares.
I believe it's one before far. I believe it's still. Near is between 6 and 12. So as long as it's less than 12, it's still near, and I don't think it's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh yeah, you can't quite make it. Yeah, you'd be 3 short.
Well, I guess regardless, I'm gonna get over there, even if that takes. That's gonna have to roll my reactor die, aren't it?
Well, you can only get up to here, because you can only push it once. Right, so you'd move 6, you'd roll your reactor die to move another 6, and that's as far as you can physically get in the turn. That's 12 squares.
Let's not do that.
Okay, so let's move you back 6.
So let's maybe about over there.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
Angling that way. I'm angling over there.
Right.
To
Because the big guy.
try to uh, so Breaker Mammoth is shut down. What does that mean for their roles? Are
Well, the defensive.
they have disadvantage on tests? So if they get attacked, they're going to be at disadvantage, right?
I believe if they are attacked while they are fully down, they just have to take the hit because their mech can't move at all.
It says overheated mech in the rules. I'm not trying to rules.
Yeah, no. That's no rules lawyer me. I was scrolling up looking for that as we were talking to try to find that.
Overheated mecha cannot take actions and has disadvantage on all tests.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so then yeah, so you'd have a disadvantage on whatever defensive test you had to take.
So I guess what I was thinking is I would use my inspiring speech.
To nullify the disadvantage.
That ability,
yep.
Yeah, to get rid of that disadvantage, to put him at 1-up. So basically, I'll I don't know how we want to interpret it. Maybe I'm actually not even so much encouraging Breaker Mammoth as I am taunting the guy who's right next to him.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
distracting
he's got
him.
an inspiring speech, so he's got advantage on whatever.
Excellent.
That's actually up to him.
Breaker Mammoth, keep that in mind because you'll almost certainly have a defensive move coming up with that alien in your face. So you'll have advantage on your next test.
Awesome.
And that is your turn, I believe. Yes. And that brings up Ghost Whisper. Ghost Whisper, you might be on mute.
Is there still,
sorry.
Is there still one right now? No, not wrong. Is there still one right up?
No, the one right in front of you. The one right in front of you was taken out by Cliffhammer. So that 50 cal took that thing out right in front of you. So there are now no small aliens between you and the large. It's basically you and your team is kind of one's behind you. Two of them are up and sort of one's like 7 squares up to up and to the right, and another one is like 15 or 16 squares up and a little bit to the right, and the big huge alien is sort of in the middle of you three. There is one small alien left. It is cornering Breaker Mammoth, whose mech overheated. They are the farthest from you on the map.
I will try and go for the little one if I can from this range.
The little one that is attacking Breaker Mammoth.
Yeah, if I have a clear shot.
Your weapon, so that's 18 squares, so that's far. What is your weapon with the sniper rifle? Gives you the sniper scope gives you advantage. What is the range on the sniper? It's far, right?
I have yeah, I'm sure it's at least. Yeah.
I'm sure that would be the point of the sniper rifle. So then it's a far shot, and it's a heavy rifle, right?
Yeah, shoulder mounted.
Right. So you on shots with that weapon, I think I forgot to do this last time. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. Probably, I think you passed regardless. But you add 2 to both your damage and your attack, so it's a little bit harder to hit, but you do more damage when you hit it with heavy weapons. So you just have to remember that whatever the resulting roll is on the dice, add 2 to it and compare that against the threshold when you're using your sniper rifle.
Okay.
But if you don't move, you're able to do so with advantage because of your scope.
It's already good. Oh, well, that was really bad roll. I thought I got rid of that. That was a 20. So yeah, even with the +2, I passed my power.
Okay, so now you roll your damage and add 2 to that.
6 damage.
6 plus 2, so 8. Yeah, I mean you complete. I mean
no,
6.
6 total.
Oh, 6 total. So 6 total is still enough to kill it. Their HP is 5. So it's like you thread this shot between the large creature, which a spectator, especially Cliffhammer behind you, might have thought you were taking a shot at the large beast, but it whips past and just blows this alien out from its position encircling Breaker Mammoth. There was an animation on Roll20 that you can't see, but it's dead. So that is your turn, because you used your first movement to not move in order to essentially aim. And that will bring up Cliffhammer.
I'm almost in.
Cliffhammer, to see if you would still be considered hidden, in case that's a concern for you, I will have you roll a mobility test, because you're fired out of there once, so there's a chance that you could have been noticed. But if you pass a mobility test, then we'll say that the large alien was too distracted to have noticed that shot. You might be muted. I don't hear you if you're speaking.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for that and mobility first. Is there a different? Is there a modifier?
Not on this first one. If you try it again, it'll be +1 to your roll. If you try it a second time, third time, it'll be +2.
Okay. At this point, I'll probably go for the shroud instead. I'm just using the benefits of my positioning right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Get the most out of it.
And no,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't. I move too much.
Yeah.
So there's for that. But I'm gonna.
So you notice
Seeing
this
that-
giant beast like lock eyes with your mech for a second, just as it kind of scans over you. So you know it sees you.
So I'm gonna spray it, even though I know that I don't have the right kind of weapon to try and arm this. I figured most of the bullets will just bounce off its armor.
Can you reach that range from where you are?
Let me see. I'm at 14 squares.
Yeah, so you're far.
I think it's more of a reaction at this point, as in like, oh shoot, and as I was, the cinematography of it is I just sprayed the first one that was beside Ghost. Ghost shoots the one that's far, and I'm just like, oh, and I just don't let go of the trigger. You see bullet holes that are all throughout all the terrain, and I tried to shoot at the big thing.
Okay. Do you move or do you stay in the mechanic shop?
At this point, I don't move because I was trying to stay hidden initially. So
Okay. Okay.
I will.
Then yeah, you spray, but any that do hit bounce off. It doesn't have the range against this creature to land anything.
Blinks. It's solid, guys.
Do you move after shooting, or do you remain in the mechanic shop?
I think I will play it safe and move to just that corner,
Okay.
so that it's easy to. I dropped. I just move a bit. I drop on my knee, and I try to gain cover from the corner of the door.
Yeah, and you'll gain cover from the corner because of the angle at which the enemy is at, so that is no problem. Yeah, I skipped the enemy, didn't I? That's okay. I'll do them now. Because I was skipping Cliffhammer, skipping Breaker Mammoth because he cannot move this turn. But actually, I'm sorry, I should give you a turn, Breaker Mammoth. You can... Oh no, you can't take any actions, it says. If you'd like to say anything over the mics, you can do that. I'm just going to look up my next move here. Okay.
I think it's just a long string of cursing.
That's perfect.
Been muted.
And so the creature kind of goes up a little bit, kind of like again a gorilla. It is sort of shaped like that on its back legs, and you see this light energy seeming to run up those light cracks in its body towards its forehead plate as it sort of emanates that teal color, and a beam comes firing out at Ghost Whisper, who's straight ahead of it. It moved first too. There we go. So, Ghost Whisper, I'll need you to roll me. What is that? Mobility.
Fail.
Fail. Okay, so you're going to take 5 damage. Allocated. I don't know if you have armor left, but of course you get to choose to allocate up to 4 of that to your armor if you do.
There goes the paint job.
Yeah, right? No, he'll be able to salvage that, I imagine. And okay, so because I skipped him, and then I did Cliffhammer, that brings us right back over to Warbucks.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Real quick, I need to... That is also the end of those turns. So I just need to roll one of these and one of these. Okay. Now you can go. Sorry about that.
Okay, so this is... I'm slightly confused about where we are in the turn. Is this the same... Is this the same turn where Breaker Mammoth is getting skipped?
Yeah, well, no, he was just skipped.
Or...
So it went you, Ghost Whisper, would have been Breaker Mammoth, and then it just went right to Cliffhammer, and Breaker Mammoth was just cursing. You're essentially the top of the order again.
Okay. And the... I guess the aliens are gonna get to go again for Breaker Mammoth, or Breaker Mammoth?
No, Breaker Mammoth gets to go first. He passed the initiative roll, so the only one that's going after the alien in each round is Cliffhammer.
All right, that sounds good. Then I guess I'm going to turn up my energy shield.
To 11.
And, yeah. I'm gonna use my energy shield, so I got to roll my reactor, and then I think I have it on here. There we go. On myself. All right, so it's all good. So I can, if I get attacked, I can reduce it by a D4.
Excellent.
Over this next round. Also, the Emperor protect. And I'm gonna shoot at the big guy.
Cool. With what is this? Is an SMG you carry?
This is that plasma.
Oh, right. Your plasma pistol, of course.
Yeah.
The one that ignores the armor.
Is there a modifier with the big guy?
No, there's no modifier here.
Okay.
Attacks with a 9, lands your hit, does 2, but at least is not reduced at all by the armor, so that does the straight 2. So, yeah, you fire, and you see it definitely has a thick hide, but your bullet rips into it, but it's like a mosquito on an elephant. You know what I mean? This thing is very large, and it doesn't. You don't assume it does an enormous amount of damage.
Okay. Well, that's all I'm gonna do this time.
Cool deal. Ghost Whisper, you're up. You've been blasted.
How far is it from me now?
You are 1, 2. It is 9 squares away.
I'll just take another shot at it.
Okay.
This beautiful piece of craftsmanship.
Nice. Yeah, you're just loving your rifle and your scope now. Just really getting to know it.
I have advantage.
Yes, you do have advantage.
So that passes either way.
Yep. So you added the 2, it still passed, and then you add the 2 to your damage when you roll it.
9.
Wow, 9 damage, nice. So you could describe this. Tell us where you hit it, but it does it's gonna roar in defiance from this shot. So it's got to be a good one.
She aims for the heart where she thinks it would be, the center of its mass, and she takes a shot at its torso.
Yeah, and it rips into it, and you see it's like stonish flesh like crackling open in that spot, but you don't see like any beating heart that you might have been expecting. You just see like this like like intestines, but black, like black snakes intestines running all through it, and they like some of that inside goop starts to like fall out and slide down its chest. Yeah, it's gross. That is going to bring up Breaker Mammoth. You can move now.
So, Mammoth is just kind of gonna whirl and see the big boy, and he's just gonna wind up and throw his wrecking flail at this thing.
Okay, awesome. So this is like the melee attack axe with the chain on it. Awesome. So it comes, it's like on a shoulder swing, right? Like the way they would use a wrecking ball. It like comes like swinging out like that. Is that what it is? Awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately, this one swings way too wide, which I guess is the overheated systems is still affecting me.
That is true. Bear in mind, everyone does still have an inspiration point this session. If you'd like to use it.
I would like to use that.
Use it. Roll up. And you still miss. I'm sorry.
How did it do the same? Oh, jeez.
You literally like, you know those movie shots where you like line up the shot and then you see yourself missing? You had that happen and then you adjusted it and you still missed. Unfortunately. Would you like to take any movement? Or, of course, a second attack, but you'd have to roll reactor to do that. That'd be tough for you. But you can move, free of charge.
Let's see. I'm guessing that crater is just kind of inaccessible.
It's difficult terrain, so you can move half. It costs double the cost to move through there.
Well, I think I might just get like a little bit closer to it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put you right.
So just thinking closer to the big boy. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I got you. A little bit closer to it, so maybe like right there.
Yeah, I'm thinking there might be some grappling going on in my future.
Oh boy. How big is your mech, by the way? How does it compare up to this thing? You have a fairly large mech, I believe.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what scale-ish we were using. You said this thing is...
It's roughly 1 to 10, but we said that like the mechs kind of vary. Like the Scout mechs run a little small, and the Titan mechs run closer to like the full 1 to 10 ratio. But this thing is like 45 feet, so it's probably larger than Cliffhammer's Scout. But probably about the same size, I would imagine, as like a Striker.
So I think like with mine, it's not super tall. Like it's definitely taller than the Scout, but it's just more like stout and wide. So
I think you probably line up with it very well. Like you're almost the same build as it. It'll be like a 45 foot to 45 foot grappling match, which is kind of cool. If that happens. All right. So you moved, yep, and alright, so that's your turn, and the alien gets to attack.
Do you mind just moving my token close to it?
Oh, closer than there? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to go the full 6? 1, 2.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought you said a little bit closer. I was trying not to get you to, I didn't want to assume 2, 3.
Sorry.
4, 5, 6. That can get you there.
Awesome, that works.
And it takes up these 4 spots, which maybe now thinking about it's the same size as you probably didn't need to do, but it is. So there it is. So you're only 1 square basically away from being able to attack it. But speaking of that, then it had been like sort of gearing itself up, but it hears the heavy footprints coming behind it. It turns around and it's going to attack you. So, let's see. It's giving you a bashing attack. It raises its huge hand and comes to slam it down on you. Roll me a power defense.
Three 19s.
Yeah, man, your rolls are not great this turn. I will tell you that.
No, I am just like 3 of the same number. What the?
So you tried to like lift your hands to like catch this thing, but it was faster than you expected, and it bypasses your hands and slams into your chest. You don't go flying or anything like that, but you could feel the shake, and you take 6 damage.
There goes the armor.
Yeah, right. And
You know, can I take it for him?
uh,
Are you close?
oh, wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. You should have had advantage
No, not.
on one of these. Because it was given to you by Warbucks. I'm sorry, I was reminded by it because you spoke just there, Warbucks. So I'll give you the choice. If you'd like to give an extra roll for either one of your attacks, or, oh no, you already used your inspiration to double up on the attack. But
Yeah, I think that expiring speech expired at the beginning.
oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I'm combining turns. That was on the turn when he was immobile. I apologize. I didn't mess up, actually. I messed up by not messing up. Alright, so sorry. What were you going to say, Warbucks? You have the ability to eat that shot?
I can't. I got to be closer.
Oh, you have to be closer. Okay.
I jumped the gun. I can't do it.
Okay, so that's not possible. So then it's over to Cliffhammer to round out the turn.
Well, it turned away from me, but it's too far. I guess it's at the same. It moved away. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go closer a bit.
Just sorry to interrupt. Actually, so I spent the inspiration point, and then I have the second advantage thing for a test. So I think I could re-roll the like.
No, that's what we were talking about. The advantage on the test that you had from Warbucks was the turn before. It expired once the turn went around. You didn't end up getting attacked because
Okay, yeah.
because Ghost Whisper blew the alien that was going to attack you away before it ever made the attack.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yep, sorry about that. Yeah, so wait, Cliffhammer, did you move? Yeah, I did see you move.
Yeah, I just moved. I moved out in the open, but a bit further north, so that I'm not the immediate target.
Right.
And I'm gonna start. I'm gonna spray at its back.
Okay, cool. Light it up. I'll tell you what, actually, before you make your attack roll me a mobility test with a +2 modifier. If you succeed, I'll allow you to say that you use its diversion to the other direction to be remaining under hidden status.
I
No.
rolled even.
Okay, so you're not hidden. You come out, it hears you. Come out, thump, 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 as
So,
you...
he's in battle, so he's aware.
Yeah, his senses are sharp. So, okay, so go ahead and make your standard attack roll with your standard damage. Oh, a crit fail.
Go for my reactor die.
Yes, sir.
Reactor. At
Okay.
least it holds all this other rolling is,
Yeah.
is useful.
At least it's taken. Yeah, it's taken the abuse.
Mhm.
Okay, so that is all the turns. Yep, you took your movement. Okay, yep, that triggers that. Okay, but that is not triggered yet. Okay. So, yeah, it is, Warbucks.
Okay. Well, looks like I'm gonna go assist Breaker Mammoth. So I'm going to, excuse me, move right up next to the beastie. Stow my pistol and pull out my. Um, Actually, no, I don't even need to stow my pistol. I'm not gonna attack. I'm just gonna come up over there and I am going to. Who hasn't gone yet this turn?
This turn remaining is everybody, right? Yeah, everybody.
Okay, I am going to use my inspiring speech and give it to Ghost Whisper. So you got advantage on something before the beginning of my next turn.
And you're inspired to do that because when you approach it, you notice that massive gate that new sniper rifle that he blasted it with did, and you think, oh man, we got to get Ghost Whisper to take this thing down. That's the thought that runs through your head.
I'm gonna like pull up the full strategic map and start feeding him exact intel on this thing's movements so he can coordinate it with his targeting software. And that's I kind of like interpreting inspiring speech like that. Like, I'm giving him the situational awareness.
Perfect.
So that's what I'm doing.
Yep, and that's your movement and your action, so that is perfect. And that will go over to Ghost Whisper, who is just inspired. I just want to also point out, everybody now except for Breaker Mammoth still has their point of inspiration, and I also just want to point out that I am working you guys in this exact same order, but you three can technically change that order, so if there's any mechanical reason that you have to want to go after somebody, feel free to say, please delay me till after this person or whatever. Don't be afraid to say that. That's not a problem. I'm just doing it this way to keep the speed going. So, Ghost Whisper, you are up.
That gave me advantage on what specifically?
Anything.
Oh, cool. Because I have it on attack, so I'm gonna use it on damage.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, I think it use it on any ability check or whatever. So it's
Okay.
it's anything you're rolling a d20 for.
Oh.
Right,
And you
but
could
yeah.
move. Because right now you have advantage because you don't move, but you could move and still get the advantage this round if you want a better positioning.
Well, yeah, I think what he was saying, though, is he wants to use it, since he already has it, you can't double advantage, so since he can't use it on his shot, he'll save it in case he gets attacked, because he's probably very low on health, and he'll use it to have advantage on his defense. I think that's what you're saying, right, Chad?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that now, yeah.
Yeah, because he can't double it up on the advantage.
I'm gonna... Unless I can use it
Oh,
on
wait, I'm
dice.
sorry. I see what Jeff is also saying. Jeff is also saying that if you do want to use it for attack, you weren't able to move and attack with advantage before because of your scope, but now you could technically if you choose to.
Well, I think he was asking if he could use advantage on the damage dice, but I don't think you can do advantage.
Oh, no, you can't do it on damage or on reactor dice. The ones that are preset die sizes, you can't use it for.
Alright, I'll save it in case he turns or something. I'll use my regular one for attack because that's a better position than the one I'm already in. That's 5. Yeah, I'll take the 5, so I pass.
Yeah, you will.
And then 7.
That's with the +2, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so now, bam! This guy takes another shot from the back this time, and he roars out again, almost stumbles forward into Breaker Mammoth. You see this thing kind of lurch towards you, Breaker. He's like, "Ah!" And he is severely injured at this point. That is gonna bring up. Why am I freezing? Breaker.
So Breaker is realizing that rifle is doing a heck of a lot of good. So he's gonna shout over the comms like Ghost Whisper, take the shot. I'm gonna distract it, and he's gonna use his command ability to have his action give Ghost Whisper another action.
Yes.
Awesome move of strategy.
Now, since I'm not moving, do I get an advantage again?
Well, no, not on the scope, because I'm thinking this is like more of a reactionary shot. However, if you choose, you can...
Then I'm going to use
exactly
the other one I have. Alright.
That's fine.
Well, I'm going to see. I'm going to roll. Do I have to declare before I roll? Or can I roll and then declare?
I think, yeah, because with advantage, you're technically rolling both dice at the same time and taking the higher.
Okay. I'll do that then. Good thing.
Good thing.
And the second one passes.
Okay. So the only thing here is you also are doing your standard damage, not +2. The scope is not affecting it, so it's just a straight... you didn't have to add +2, but
Okay.
you passed either way, but you also don't add 2 to the damage.
Oh. Yeah, that would have passed either way then.
Oh, okay.
Anyways. So then just 7.
7 damage. Okay, wow, actually, I had something else planned, but that is 1 exceeding its HP, of which was 24 to start. You defeated a HD3 enemy and 4 HD1 enemies. So describe how that looks with the whole command. You know, you get the call over the speaker. How does this look? How does it play out?
Mid casing ejecting from the last shot, her mech catches it with her fingers, and then the next one just comes out as soon as he says that. There's already a nice hole that began from the first shot, so she just tries to put it right on that one. It's still glowing from the impact of the incendiary round, and then just hits it again, and then it goes almost straight through, but then it just slumps forward.
Awesome. Yeah, it like just catches on the skin on the front side, so it doesn't penetrate through, but like the force of it like pulls it forward. And Breaker, it's only by like a few feet that it sort of keels to the left and misses you. And you're sort of like just standing there looking over the corpse at Ghost, who you weren't able to see a second ago, who's, you know, this huge rifle is smoking out the barrel. And all of you hear, we got the doors open. Get in here. We got more readings coming in on the radar scan. There's more aliens coming in. And he pings a spot right back over where you had come on the other side of the flames, but it's not a concern. We don't have to, like, you know, we can narrate that out. And so if you guys follow the ping, he's talking to you over the radio the whole time, and he's going, we're opening it now. You'll see it when you get there and you guys are approaching. You stomp through this fire, which doesn't affect your mechs. It would have burned you up as people, but you just stomp right through it. And you see the ground sort of start to corkscrew up. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen one of those earth refrigerators that people bury in their backyards, but it's like one of those. It like comes lifting up, and it's huge. It takes up like that whole section of the courtyard, large enough for a mech to stand on. And but what's cool is it's like one of those. It's like a fancy escalator for mechs. It's like a actual corkscrew. You know, it spins up so that multiple mechs could stand on the platforms, and then it can spin back down again. So that's exactly what's going to happen. As you guys come rushing through the flames, you see this thing reaching its height, and he's radioing you in, and he goes, just step in one at a time as it's lowering. We have very little time. And as you step in, one of you steps in, and it starts to corkscrew down, and then another one steps in, and it continues to corkscrew down until it's back at Earth level, presumably. And you guys are traveling down the Earth. You're seeing stone and sheeted metal covering this whole entryway as it corkscrews down, and then light breaks at the bottom, and each of you step off in turn. And as the last of you is stepping off, Major Halsworth comes, Halscrest comes around a corner, and he says, oh, thank God you made it, because apparently nobody else did. Listen, I know I said you could go back to Colorado, but it's not going to happen. I'm going to give you a little more information than you probably expected to get. This tunnel continues to head down 10 miles at a 30-degree angle until it reaches the Center Research Lab. It then travels up another 10 miles. I'm sorry, these mileages are all wrong. It travels down several hundred miles because it's halfway between St. Louis and Columbus. And then it pivots at the research room and travels up several hundred miles until it reaches a base just outside Columbus on the southwest side. He says there's some work that was being done in this station that, if we could have just finished it, this attack wouldn't have been a problem. But regardless, we have to protect it. There are several blast doors between us and that room. We need to shut every single one of them before exiting out through Columbus, and we have to pray that the base on the other end of this thing is in better shape than the one we just left. Do you understand, troops?
I understand our mission. I just don't understand. Is it worse than this?
I'm sorry. Is what worse than this?
I mean, we took out the one. We took out the one pod. Like, what else is there?
Well, if the records we have from their previous attack mean anything, their numbers are in no way reflected by what we've seen so far. They might have been testing us out, testing our reactions. We might be being overly cautious. They may not be targeting this center at all. But if for any reason they have any way of knowing what we have down there, then they would certainly be after it. And we have to do everything we can to make sure that whichever ones follow don't get there.
I'm gonna transform to. I'm gonna switch to vehicle mode.
Okay. Awesome.
And just making sure that my reactor survives that. It doesn't, of course. I really need to have to work on that thing. And the but I opened the door on the other side as I come out and hop in.
Oh, he goes, yeah, this is better than what I had planned. And he hops in, yeah, your passenger seat, and he's sitting shotgun on basically a regular car ride. I'm gonna let the rest of you guys know. We are gonna be drawing this session to a close right about now. So if there's anything else you want your characters here to say to Major Holtcrest before we cut it for the night, do so now.
Well, I guess I hope you know the codes for those doors, because I don't want to have to hack each one of them to close them. So that's the goal of bringing you along. Hopefully we all get through.
He says the only other person that had them is dead upstairs. So yes, I have them, and I am ready to use them. And so if there's nothing else, I imagine sort of like the vehicle takes off, the mechs are behind, and you guys are going through this like industrial-sized tunnel, big enough obviously for mechs to go through, let's say probably 5 abreast. Quite large tunnel, but confined at the end of the day. And there's probably some condensation down there, and so you guys are ripping through puddles, smashing through puddles, and the camera would probably freeze out after doing like several little pause frames on each of you as Cliffhammer kind of whips around a turn and uses the bank of the side of the tunnel to kind of keep all 4 wheels down and just take off again. And as Breaker Mammoth kind of just trudges along down the hallway with Warbucks just behind him to the right, huge thumps every time footsteps, and Ghost Whisper kind of more streamlined, running like a track runner as a mech just silently down the tunnel, focused, and fades out. So, give me 1 second here. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody online. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope you had a great time. We're going to be doing session 3 in about 2 weeks. I'll update you on that with the exact date as soon as we have everybody's availability. And, yeah, hope you had a great time. We hope to see you again next time.
That last round was awesome.